that they began to have a much larger part in the founding of the United States, and their numbers really only grew after the 1830s, and it was really not until the middle of the 20th century that they began to have a much larger political impact in the United States.
Next, Jen. Next. Jen, when you have powers like this, it's like putting a target on your back and the backs of all the people you care about.
It means a lot of people breaking the first two rules of
Church club.
It means a lot of people breaking the first two rules of
Church club.
Oh, cool. Yet another way my life is ruined.
When you have powers like this, it's like putting a target on your back and the backs of all the people you care about.
Oh, cool. Yet another way my life is ruined.
Secret Radio.
Who do they call when the chips are starting to fall? Just when the villains are winning, the trouble's beginning to brew.
Ladies and gentlemen, Agent 69. Ladies and gentlemen.
Sure, it all looks the same to you, doesn't it?
We're going round in circles.
Come on, GAIUS. Sure, it all looks the same to you, doesn't it?
We didn't mean to intrude.
It's hard for any human to navigate around here, especially without projecting.
Yes, you've used that word before. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. It helps you.
Please welcome TV on the radio.
You're listening to Secret Radio on CFBX, the Hidden Valley, and I am talking to GRIZWALD Grimm, and I am Agent, and this is General Griz. Not that there's a hierarchy here, but we can neither confirm nor deny our relationship. However, I can confirm that we did meet through various Discord servers and YouTube channels in a corner of the internet, and this is my segment of the show that I call Internet on the Radio. Griz, how's it going?
You know, Agent, it's going great, and I'm thrilled to be with a gent like yourself again. This is our third conversation, two of which are available on the internet on my YouTube channel at Griz.
Let's see. Let's start off with your first song.
Let's, in case it might have become uncopacetic, let's have Local H make it copacetic once again.
So I have GRIZWALD Grid, a friend from the Broken Tower, and your YouTube channel is just called GRIZWALD Grimm, isn't that right? Or I guess you have Fringe Encounter too. You have numerous things on it.
Well, the Discord is called the Broken Clock Tower, and the channel is, I think, officially under the GRIZWALD Grimm name, but they've started doing new handles. So like Twitter, I'm at GrimGriz also, and sometimes it's easier to find that way. A Fringe Encounter is like, usually when I meet someone on the internet, since the NSA is going to watch it anyway, I decide to make a recording so my friends can meet all the people I'm meeting at the same time I am. And that's a special playlist. And then I also do live streams to help everyone feel virtually not alone.
That's great. I love that. I love that virtual alone, which leads me to my final question, but I'll bring it up early. Normally I leave it for the takeout. What do you think of, like, okay, so we have our own little corner of the internet. We're all kind of networked to these different personalities, and like Paul Vanderklay and Vervaeke you've talked to, and you kind of blew up talking to Vervaeke, who's kind of becoming a big deal. And I'm really looking forward to watching your thing on the After Socrates thing. I love the gesture, like, quality of your narrative. Do you think these are real connections that we're forming, like virtually? Do you think that we're developing real relationships?
I think we're in a transitory period where there's this disembodied internet layer of reality. And people say in the IRL, I'm going to go do things in IRL. But the time and attention we spend here in this, well, and this is a radio place, but on the internet place, it's like water. We're like frogs now, and I think this these connections are very real, and it's different because it's the interactions ripple across the whole sphere, of the ocean of this information place. And so there are also, the connections are a little more than real. The attention that we share together and the community, the laughter, the stuff we get, even though I'm still just in my house in this room and everybody else is still wherever they're at, we're still sharing those laughs and stuff together, and that feeling is somewhat addictive. But I'd like to just take the false claim with a song by K's Choice called Not an Addict.
Okay, recently, okay, do you have any favorite people that you've talked to on your YouTube channel?
Favorite?
Or favorite interviews? I mean, everyone's really excited about the Vervaeke talk, and I'd like to discuss that in a second. But what would you rank that as one of the higher ones, or would it be something else?
There was a recent period before I ended up in handcuffs where I thought I was going to be assassinated, and so I got a bunch of really good conversations out. So they're all fresh, and you can't, as a host, show any sort of favoritism. What I'm actually most excited about, and I'll give that shout out if I can, is there's a guy named Harley Sealbinder who has a podcast, and he's the first person I didn't recognize from the corner who asked to have me on. And that's going to be releasing soon on the Harley Sealbinder podcast. So I'm excited for that one.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Yeah, so like I just watched your latest video that dropped today. And you mentioned something that me and you talked about that I edited it out of our interview, but I think I'm going to release it because I was a little condescending towards Vervaeke and praising you rather highly. And I went, wait a second, am I being disingenuous? But you and Vervaeke touched upon autism and psychosis. And I can neither confirm nor deny that I have a relationship with either of these phenomena. But what is your perspective on that?
Vervaeke is a professor of cognitive psychology, among other things, at the University of Toronto. And he recently, I think, co-authored a paper on the connection between autism and psychosis and the way they're looking at the world with his relevance realization thing. My personal take is that it's an easy way to understand, like, where the difficulty is. I don't know that if it might be the most functional model of the connection between, like, connecting the two is, for one, I don't think people have seen the connection before, but that the autistic is more primatizes the material plane and that reality, and the psychotic goes like spiritual, mental, the opposite direction from the material plane. Is, I think it's good to see it as a spectrum as we slide along it.
Well, that's brilliant. Yeah, let's just hear the last song and then we'll have a short chat before you go. And then,
right.
Yeah, it's great having you. You're listening to CFBX on 92.5 DX Secret Radio. I am now here at my new time on Fridays at 4 PST. And yeah, so what's the next song? And just mention something about it.
When you ask someone to choose 3 songs, and they sit and they stew upon it for a little bit, it comes into songs that have been followed, I don't know, soundtracks to our lives at this point. And there's this line in Footsteps where it's like, I got scratches all over my arms, one for each day since I fell apart. And there's been various periods of my life where I've kept track of days that way. So Footsteps by Pearl Jam.
And there is only an agent and an arena if they are appropriately coupled together. How do they get coupled together? They get coupled together, and you can examine this at many different levels of time scale analysis.
The Secretary will disavow any non-renewed erections. This state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.